morning. All right, we are here today. We have a little good Happy New Year's, Merry Christmas, whatever the holidays were. I didn't say any of that last time because the last video was a little depressing. But anyways, hope you all are here having fun and enjoying yourselves. I had a request for a die-cast model. I got a little backhoe back here. Get it all moved out here. So this is a Cat 420, and it's got interchangeable parts on it. It's pretty cool. So you can swap out. It's got a little hammer, forks attachment for replace on the bucket, and they actually do swap out, and then a parts picker. So you put a little cable on here and pick up parts off the front bucket. It's cool. So today I had last week I got a request to review Dredging. And so, per a request, someone wanted Dredging, so I'm giving you Dredging. So if you guys want me to talk about something, feel free to throw it in the comments and say, hey, I would like to hear about this or such and such, and I will do my best to put it in there and say, hey, yeah, I'll do a deep dive on it as best I can. I mean, some of these deep dives takes me about 6 hours or less. Like I said, it's over here. This is where it gets done eventually. So let's go ahead and get started. Dredging is the act of excavating underwater. Whether it be an excavator, some kind of marine pump or something, the vacuums that guys use for gold extraction, looking for gold. And there's a few reasons that you do it. You do it to create pathways for shipping lanes to deepen the pathways so ships can float through the area. Let me see. No, wrong button. I have pictures. They suck though. Come on, open. Okay. So let me get this up for you. There you go. So you have a big old ship with a little bit of a channel which they would have to navigate through. And now, granted, this is small, but debris and stuff over time, erosion fills in the bottom of the channel, and ships have depth finders on them, so they know how deep the hull of the ship is versus the bottom of the shipping lane. This prevents them from running ashore and getting high center or whatever it is. So, like it says, over time deposits build up in parts of the waterway, such as sand, silt, and mud, making them unsafe to navigate by large vessels. And then we have to go back and take care of that. So, what are some of the ways that we take care of that? So, let's see, we've got erosion, and this is a pump rig barge where they suck up sand from the bottom of the ocean, and they build up sandbars, wave breaks, things like that. These are ocean going dredging. Got this one. So how does dredging work? So this is a kind of a little deal here. We've got a boom arm with a rotating head on it and a vacuum basically that sucks the material up. It can either deposit the material into the barge, or it has a pump that pumps the material onto land or to another location. Operator of the dredge lowers the boom to the bottom of the body of the water, the silted in area, And rotating cutting bar then uses teeth to loosen the settled material as the submerged pump removes the settlement from the bottom of the waterway. Silt and debris are then transported away from the final processing area. What is this? This process is used for creating waterways, reopening channels, restoring shorelines, maintaining ecosystems, gathering construction material. This is an important one because I'll talk about that. Removing trash and debris, reconfiguring waterways with basically creating new trenches, new new directions, or relocating a river from one lake location to another. Um, it's also used in gold mining, so mining for materials and more. All right. So this is this is the same picture. It was a thumbnail. It looked like it'd be a great picture, but I can barely read the stuff on it. But you can see here the boom with a vacuum, and then it's got the pipe coming off of it. The second one here is a crane that has a clamshell on it. It picks it up, swings it over, deposits the material into a barge or a hopper or something like that. Secondary barge can come by and they can throw the material into that secondary barge. Like, yay. So clamshell barge. They just dump everything into that portion of the barge there, and then a tugboat pulls it off and they take it to wherever they take it. Here's another one. So you got stabilizing pillars that drop all the way down to the bed, and then your clamshell bucket and your depositing area. Now, excavators. So this is a long reach. This is a slower process than the vacuum method that they use, or suction method. So you have an excavator, goes all the way down to the bottom of the area, pulls the material out, throws it up on a barge. Same things, not much different. This is a much smaller operation. You've got an actual excavator, long reach. He's actually using his bucket like a paddle. He's pulling on the water from side to side, pulling himself into position. It does look like they have an operator for the boat or barge here. Those are stabilization pillars that would drop down until they hit the bottom, and then it would just basically hold the orientation, and hopefully it would keep it from flipping over. And then we get to the part of building stuff. Like in Dubai. Dubai built islands by using barges that shoot material. And this is how they built them. They used these barges, went out, collected sea sand off the bottom of the ocean, and then came over using GPS, would use these sprayers and spray the material into the location that they were building their islands. They do have other methods. I've got video of other methods, so we'll get to those in a minute. This is mining. This is a gold mining barge. So basically, it has paddle wheels on it here, and these giant structures can float in like 4 feet of water. So it's just a big chain. It's just like and they would float and go back and forth using cables. There'd be a cable system coming off the rig that would run off to the sides, left and right side, and then they would use that cable to pull themselves side to side. So they'd go side to side, sweeping the boom back and forth through the ground, and it's going whatever depth they need to be able to float. That material is then processed on the inside. They have a whole bunch of mining material inside that building that processes all the dirt to extract gold out of it, and then they spit the rest of it out the back of the machine, refilling in the ground that they took out. So it gets redeposited. And here's another one. So this is the boom coming out the back of the dredge. You can see, so the dredge is actually working over towards the right side, and then depositing behind them on the left. And these things were enormous. We've got signs of these things being used here in California all over the place. So here is a description of the chain coming down and cutting away. So that chain actually goes up and down, so they can start at the top, go back and forth until they get down to their whatever depth they wanted. Coarse gravel and stuff. You can see, then they've got their little shaker machine that shakes all the fines out of it, and all the heavy stuff gets kicked out. So, another shot of Dubai. This is actually a series of islands that looks like the planet Earth. So, North America, South America. It's supposed to look like the planet, but this photo doesn't do it much justice. But this island here, and there are some reports out there. They say that this island is actually sinking into the ocean. So who knows? But they have a lot of so all the people that have permanent residents are in these little fingers, and then the vacation spots would be on this outer rim. There's a giant hotel right at the peak of it, and they have a tram that runs from the coast all the way through the center of this to transport people, and it actually goes under the water here, and people walk up out of the substation to the hotel that's at the end of it. I think that's the last. Yep. Okay. So that's the last of those. Close that out. So I've got videos that are sitting here kind of showing the dredging. So little 120, you can see the barge just kind of shaking around. It's got a little spot slip for a small barge to come in. This is obviously a lake that they're working in. So you see underwater. So this is this is another sign of process of dredging, gold mining underwater. It's just a dude with scuba gear sucking up the material off the ground. This is also considered to be dredging. And they're just removing all the lighter material, trying to suck up anything that they can. And then same thing, it spits it out to another location. They put it through all their mining equipment and then sift through the fines and trying to find that heavy gold. Oops, I just closed one out I didn't want to close. All right, so we have another one. So this is another example of a barge that has been filled with sand material. And they're building up a reef or something like that. They're building up like the islands. So this is a fast way.
This is a vessel with sand in its hull, but you might be wondering how it deposits the sand, right? This is
Well,
actually
not anymore. He just told us.
Dredger. It uses a drag head that trails along the seabed to suck up loose sediment through a suction pipe and deposits it into a section of the ship called the hopper. To offload the sand, they can use the rainbow method, where they spray the sand through a nozzle in an arch. Another method used for land reclamation projects involves pumping the sand through pipelines. They can also deposit the sand using doors located at the bottom of the vessel. This is a vessel with sand in its hull.
Oh, okay, that was a quick and easy one. Now these are so I've got some here that are attachments that go on an excavator, and so you got a pond area that's kind of gross. You got a bunch of stuff you don't want in an area that's either this is basically a big old pump. So they stick this rotating head around into the water, it liquefies everything, and then they turn this giant pump on that just relocates it about 60 feet away. So I don't know how useful this actually is, but this is another type of dredging. So if you got a lake that has been filled in, and is a constant wet spot, I mean, you just take it, spray it somewhere else, and remake your hole. We got another example of this. There's a different head on it. And again, they're just spraying this in the same location that they're doing stuff. So I don't know if they're just trying to create a hole in one spot, relocating the material to another part of the area, but I don't see a huge use for this. So the last one is the gold mining dredging. All right, it's got music on it. Can't play that. That's gold. So they're just talking about all the different dredges. So there's one in operation here.
Into a hopper at the head, and then it in turn goes through a big screen, takes out anything bigger than 3 inches in diameter, which go out the tailing stacker in the stern in the back.
Stupid music. You're gonna get me kicked off YouTube for that. But this is a little family-owned deal, or they do this just to show people what it was like back in the gold mining days. Look at that. There's gold.
That shows me how far I'm dropping it. See? Now we're starting to cut, sweeping across. Going to the right, that would be starboard. This is what the clutch I would put in. And this is the brake I would let go. And it would take us all the way over. I would stop it, throw the clutch out. Now we're going back the other direction. I pull that clutch in. And it starts sweeping us across all the way over to the other side. Then you also tighten up this line over here on this side. So you have lines going from the bow back and the stern forward. Simple, huh?
This dredge here is dredge number 5, constructed in 1939. I worked in the thaw fields here for the
Alaska. Yeah, about the only place you'll find dredges anymore, especially any that might actually work. God, look how big those things are. Those things are just enormous.
There are about 120 buckets on that bicycle chain. The buckets themselves are 9 cubic feet. And then basically took a crew of 4 people. There was a winchman that was up in the top. There was a deckhand that spent most of his time sitting in what they called the doghouse in the back. Then there were 2 oilers. There were a lot of big nuggets, but most of the gold in this area was much finer. Anything above a 4-mesh screen was not recovered and probably can be found in the tailing piles behind.
The dredge behind me is dredge 5, and we're about to enter and take a look. And we're on a lower deck, and we're going to start looking at some of the many things that are in this dredge. So in this area you can see the sluice boxes, but here's where all the gold was gathered. Pulled all the carpets, cleaned them, and got the gold out of them. This drum was spun, and there was pumps providing water, and it washed the rock and separated the gold from the other particles. There's a complex set of cables that move this conveyor up and down and side to side.
Well, we're here in the winch room for dredge number 5. This dredge, being larger, had multiple banks of winches. This here was the control that actually raised and lowered the bucket line. This one went from side to side, which simply controlled his movement as he was digging. And then there's a gauge there on the side. The dredge itself could dig down to about 110 feet down to
Holy
bedrock,
smokes.
where the gold actually was
Wow,
located.
that's a huge one.
And Nome was the last of the Great Alaska Gold Rush, which was also the richest. So a lot of gold came out of here, and to a degree still does.
All right, that's that. That's about all I got for gold dredging, or just for dredging in general. It's a really to the point operation. So, buddy, I know you're the only one here, Tran. There you go. There's dredging. Not a whole lot to it, bud. It's you dig underwater. Basically, it's a removal of material from one location to get it out of the bottom of the water, and whether it be gold or sand or muck and material trash, they're just removing it from where they don't want it to a place they do want it, or off-hauling it on barges to some other location. So, not a whole lot to dredging. Got any questions or anything you want to see next week? Anybody that's watching this is more than welcome to throw a comment into the video as you watch it later, and I will do my best to have a subject day on a Sunday. And every Sunday, 8 o'clock, we're here. I'm live. Come in. You can chat with me. And just, hang out. That's what I do. So I'm here 8 o'clock in the morning on Sundays. If nobody's in here, I try to make it short unless I've got a subject that I'm talking about. Then I just talk to myself about it and hope someone later on watches it. So anyways, guys, this is a short one, 20 minutes. So thanks for hanging out. Thanks for watching. And as always, keep your butt level and your ditch straight.